René Descartes' declaration, "I think, therefore I am," stands as one of the most influential statements in the history of philosophy. This phrase, originally expressed in Latin as cogito, ergo sum, encapsulates Descartes' quest for certainty and knowledge. By grounding existence in the act of thinking, Descartes established a new foundation for Western philosophy, shifting focus to the individual's capacity for reason and self-awareness. The statement has become synonymous with the exploration of personal identity, emphasizing the connection between consciousness and existence. Over centuries, it has sparked debates and inspired countless thinkers to examine the nature of self and reality. Its enduring legacy continues to shape discussions about what it means to be human. The phrase in question, often repeated with conviction, carries an air of certainty that can be both reassuring and intimidating. Yet, beneath its confident surface, it may also sow seeds of anxiety and self-doubt. Many people find themselves questioning whether they truly measure up to its expectations, wondering if they are missing something essential. This internal conflict can lead to feelings of inadequacy as individuals struggle to reconcile their reality with the ideal implied by the phrase. Its impact is not always straightforward, and for some, it becomes a source of pressure rather than motivation. Recognizing these effects invites a deeper conversation about the true meaning and consequences of such statements. Have you ever found yourself trapped in a loop of your own thoughts, unable to break free from the constant stream of worries and ideas? Many people experience moments where their minds seem to race, replaying scenarios and possibilities over and over again. This feeling of being stuck can be both exhausting and isolating. As we explore this experience together, consider the times when your thoughts have felt overwhelming or difficult to control. Recognizing these moments is the first step toward understanding how common and shared they truly are. In the early 1600s, Europe was a landscape of intellectual upheaval and uncertainty. Amid this backdrop, René Descartes, a French philosopher and mathematician, found himself grappling with profound existential questions. Troubled by the possibility that everything he believed could be false, Descartes embarked on a journey of radical doubt. He questioned the reliability of his senses, the truth of inherited beliefs, and even the existence of the world around him. This period of deep introspection marked a turning point in philosophical thought, as Descartes sought to strip away all assumptions and discover a foundation for genuine knowledge. His existential crisis would ultimately lead to one of the most influential ideas in Western philosophy. René Descartes approached philosophy with a radical method of doubt, questioning the certainty of all his beliefs. He realized that even if he doubted everything, the very act of doubting required a thinking mind. This insight led him to a foundational truth, the existence of his own consciousness. Descartes famously expressed this idea with the phrase, "Cogito, ergo sum," which means, "I think, therefore I am." By recognizing that the act of thinking cannot be separated from the thinker, he established a secure starting point for further philosophical inquiry. This principle became a cornerstone in Western philosophy, emphasizing the importance of self-awareness and reason. Over time, society has embraced Descartes' notion that our thoughts define who we are. This perspective places rational self-awareness at the center of personal identity, suggesting that the ability to think and reason is what truly distinguishes individuals. In many cultures, intellectual achievement and clear reasoning are highly valued, often seen as markers of personal worth. The celebration of rationality has influenced education, philosophy, and even social structures, encouraging people to cultivate their minds as a path to self-understanding. As a result, the connection between thought and identity remains a powerful force in shaping how we view ourselves and others. A critical flaw in our thinking arises when we identify ourselves with every thought that passes through our minds, particularly those that are negative or anxious. This habit can lead to a distorted sense of self, making it difficult to separate our true identity from fleeting emotions and worries. When we accept every anxious thought as a reflection of who we are, we risk reinforcing patterns of stress and self-doubt. Over time, this can erode our confidence and well-being. Recognizing this tendency is essential, as it opens the door to healthier ways of relating to our thoughts and emotions. Many people experience a persistent cycle of self-criticism, anxiety, and imposter syndrome, often triggered by over-identifying with their own thoughts. When we mistake fleeting worries or negative self-judgments for absolute truths, These mental patterns can become overwhelming. Thoughts such as, I'm not good enough or I don't belong here, may seem convincing, even though they are often distorted reflections of our fears. This mental trap can erode confidence and amplify stress, making it difficult to recognize our actual abilities and achievements. By understanding how easily we can become entangled in these thought patterns, we begin to see the importance of separating our identity from the stories our minds create. Constantly defending and believing every thought that crosses our minds can be an exhausting endeavor. The internal narrator, that persistent voice within, often presents ideas and judgments as if they are absolute truths. Yet its reliability is questionable, as it frequently shifts perspectives and contradicts itself. This ongoing mental debate can drain our energy and cloud our judgment. By recognizing the fallibility of our inner commentary, we begin to understand that not every thought deserves our unwavering trust or attention. Letting go of the need to validate every passing notion can bring a sense of relief and clarity. Descartes' philosophical model centers on the certainty of one's own existence, famously summarized as, I think, therefore I am. This approach, however, introduces a profound sense of isolation. If the only thing one can be sure of is the existence of their own mind, then the reality of other people becomes questionable, potentially reducing them to mere projections or constructs within one's consciousness. This solipsistic perspective can lead to a deep loneliness, as genuine connection with others is cast into doubt. The boundaries between self and other blur, raising unsettling questions about the nature of reality and interpersonal relationships. In this framework, the world outside the mind loses its independent certainty, leaving the individual in a solitary realm of thought. When thinking becomes the dominant focus in our lives, it can inadvertently create barriers between ourselves and others. Excessive rumination often draws us inward, fostering a sense of isolation and detachment from those around us. This inward focus may lead to self-centeredness, as personal concerns and perspectives take precedence over shared experiences. As a result, genuine connections can become scarce, with interactions feeling superficial or transactional. Over time, the habit of prioritizing thought over engagement can erode empathy and understanding, making it difficult to truly relate to others. Recognizing this pattern is essential for cultivating more authentic relationships and a deeper sense of belonging. Consider the possibility of distinguishing the I from the act of thinking. Traditionally, we tend to equate our identity with our thoughts, assuming that what we think is who we are. But what if this fusion is not as absolute as it seems? By questioning the automatic link between identity and thought, we open the door to a deeper understanding of ourselves. This separation invites us to observe our thoughts without immediately claiming them as our own. It challenges us to reflect on whether our sense of self is truly defined by the content of our minds, or if there exists an underlying I that is independent from the stream of thinking. Imagine the mind as a radio constantly tuning into different stations. Each station represents a stream of thoughts, some clear, others static-filled or fleeting. In this metaphor, you are not the broadcaster who creates the content, but rather the listener who chooses which station to pay attention to. Thoughts come and go, much like songs or talk shows on the airwaves. By recognizing yourself as the listener, you gain the ability to shift your focus, change the channel, or simply observe without getting caught up in the broadcast. This perspective can help foster a sense of detachment and clarity, allowing you to navigate your mental landscape with greater ease. The liberating truth lies in understanding that the I am is not defined by the thoughts that arise in our minds. Instead, it is the awareness that observes these thoughts, quietly noticing them without attachment or judgment. This distinction allows us to recognize that our true nature is the witness, not the content of our thinking. By identifying with awareness rather than with fleeting thoughts, we gain a sense of freedom and clarity. This realization can help us navigate life with greater ease, as we are no longer bound by the ever-changing patterns of the mind. Traditionally, the phrase, I think, therefore I am, suggests that our ability to think is proof of our existence. However, by inverting this statement to I am, therefore I think, we highlight a different perspective. Existence is the foundation that enables thought. For any thought can occur, there must first be a being who is capable of thinking. Our state of being provides the necessary conditions for consciousness and reflection. In this view, being is primary, and thinking is a function that arises from it. This approach emphasizes that existence precedes cognition, making our capacity to think dependent on the fact that we already exist. By adopting this new perspective, individuals begin to notice a distinct separation between themselves and their thoughts. This shift allows thoughts to be observed rather than immediately accepted as facts or personal truths. As a result, anxious feelings and self-critical judgments lose some of their intensity and influence. People often find it easier to let go of negative patterns, experiencing a greater sense of calm and emotional balance. Over time, this practice can lead to increased resilience and a more compassionate relationship with oneself. Learning to observe your thoughts without becoming attached to them can transform your mindset. When you notice a thought, try to see it simply as an event in your mind, rather than a reflection of who you are. This practice helps create distance between your sense of self and the constant stream of mental activity. By not identifying with every thought, you may find it easier to remain calm and balanced, even in challenging situations. Over time, this approach can foster greater peace and resilience, allowing you to respond to life with clarity and composure. Misinterpreting Descartes' famous phrase, "I think, therefore I am," can lead to a narrow understanding of consciousness, where the act of thinking is seen as the sole proof of existence. This view risks overlooking the complexity of human experience and the interconnectedness of thought, emotion, and perception. By embracing the observer perspective, we gain a broader appreciation for the role of awareness in shaping our reality. Observing our thoughts without immediate judgment allows for greater clarity and self-understanding. This approach fosters personal growth, resilience, and a deeper connection to the world around us. Ultimately, recognizing ourselves as observers rather than just thinkers enriches our experience and helps us navigate life with greater wisdom. As we reach the end of this journey, consider this perspective. You are not your thoughts, but rather the space in which they arise. Thoughts come and go, appearing and fading like clouds passing through the sky. By recognizing this distinction, you can observe your thoughts without becoming entangled in them. Allow them to drift by, acknowledging their presence without judgment or attachment. This gentle awareness creates room for clarity and calm, reminding you of the peaceful space that exists within. We'd love to hear from you. What is the thought station you find yourself visiting most often? Share your experiences in the comments below and let us know how these patterns show up in your daily life. Your insights not only help us understand our audience better, but they also foster a sense of community among viewers. If there are specific topics or questions you'd like us to explore in future episodes, feel free to suggest them. Your feedback guides our content and ensures we address what matters most to you. Join the conversation and help shape the direction of our next discussions. Thank you for joining us today and exploring these ideas together. Your attention and curiosity help foster a deeper understanding of practical philosophy. If you found this discussion insightful, consider subscribing to stay updated with future content. We regularly share new perspectives and practical approaches to philosophical questions. Your continued engagement supports our mission to make philosophy accessible and relevant for everyone. We appreciate your time and look forward to welcoming you back for more thoughtful explorations.